Hello, everybody. It's Heather Farrell, the expat entrepreneur, and I'm here today with episode number 11 of the Legit eBiz show. And today we're going to talk about mapping your business personality type. And this is a really exciting subject that I can't wait to share with you and hope that you can get a good idea of how important it can be, especially if you are at the beginning stages. If you are an early entrepreneur, this should be ground zero for you. If you're an existing entrepreneur or somebody with a business already today, what this could do for you is potentially help you to realign if you're maybe not thriving or maybe not loving what you're doing. If that's the case, you may not have chosen quite as well as you would have hoped. So basically, with this strategy, what we do is go through a process. It's a two-part process, and there's a couple of different ways that I like to approach it, but my favorite is by starting out with a challenge. And there's a 5-day challenge that is actually just kicking off this weekend as I'm airing this particular episode, but I will have them going on consistently. So if you're catching this particular show later as a replay, don't worry because you can always catch another challenge coming down the road. And it's either by going through a challenge or by going through a webinar that I do, one of the two things. But it's a live experience. And what we do in this time is we actually take a deep look at you. And the second part of it is taking a deep look at the online businesses themselves. So it's this two-part system process that is really what makes it so powerful. And the whole point of it is so that you can save yourself the time, the money, and the loss of the bits of yourself that happen when we go down the wrong path, when we choose the wrong business. And I can speak to this with some authority because I've done it. For those of you who don't know and might be joining me for the first time, I was doing a private label business, and I was selling my products on Amazon for about 6 years. And this was something that I got into on the back of an ad that I saw that might be something that you saw too. They're super popular. There's lots of ads these days for all kinds of different businesses, right? And my point is that, there's a lot you don't know when you're first getting into it. That people are not divulging all the information in many cases. There a lot of times things are underestimated in terms of the real amount of time that it takes to do a business or the real cost it's going to be in order for you to really have a chance. For example, when I got into Amazon private label, this was back in 2014, and at that time, literally, people were saying that with 4, 5, 6 hours a week and less than $1,000, you could make a viable, good business on Amazon. And let me just tell you, that is complete BS. It was, I didn't know it at the time. I certainly do now today, but it wasn't even true back then. It certainly is not true today. And had I known the truth back then, I feel pretty confident that I probably would have chosen a different path. Basically, that's what led me down this road to create these systems to help other people to not lose that time and money and those bits of yourself too, right? Because what does it do? It takes a little piece of you. When you have a situation like that and you're trying to make this business work and you're doing all the things and you're trying all the strategies and a different product and trying to figure, well, what's the one thing? What's the one next change I got to make? If I can only do this, then it's going to turn it all around. It's going to be great. And many times that is just not the case. And what it's doing is actually taking us off course even further. So what I ended up doing was in 2020 when COVID hit, it was the chance that it turned out to be a blessing for me because, and I was just explaining this to a friend on another podcast we were doing, that I actually probably knew for quite some time that I needed to walk away from my Amazon business and start something different, but I just couldn't do it because I just wanted to make it work and to make it succeed. And I was just hell bent on that idea. And when I had the situation where I was out of inventory and my Chinese suppliers were closed because of COVID, and there was nothing I could do, literally. So I was in that unique position where I could actually take a minute and look at some of these other opportunities that exist. And so I did. And what I ended up doing was taking just a deep dive research into the world of online business. I'd already known quite a bit, and many of the models that I learned more about, I ended up, I did already know a lot about them just from the work that I'd done even before Amazon, but even during Amazon, because in that particular business, you tend to add different things into it to try and make it work, and things that are actually full on businesses of their own, which can be a great strategy if you've got people to do that with you, because having a private label business is more time and work needed than one human has in a day. That's a fact, Jack. So with the research that I'd done, I realized after the fact that I had created something so comprehensive and useful that I needed to get it out to the world. And I did. And I used to run challenges called the Legit eBiz Assessment. And some of you might know and remember that. There were a few of you even in there. Hello to whoever's joined. What I found as a result of moving a bunch of people through the challenge is that there was a component missing. And I've now filled in that gap, and I know what it is. And also, there was too much information in one little challenge to go through. So I've evened it out. And what we're doing now is starting with the introspective look into you. And this is a lot more and a lot deeper than just some assessment you could go online and find yourself and say, okay, well, I'll just do that on my own. Believe me, in the challenge that we're going to be kicking off on Monday, in these 5 days, I'm actually going to have a guest speaker who's going to come on and help us. She's a certified Breeze Meyer consultant who helps people to extrapolate their results from the assessment itself. And so in this particular case, when you go through and figure out and have this report on you, right, on what makes you tick, that's great. But how do we actually apply it in the real world? And it's not as easy as it sounds, because if it was, loads of us would be really successful doing all the right things all the time, and we're not. So that's why I decided to just keep going until I can find the right way for this entire message and process to be put out to people so that everybody can actually use it and come out the other end with that exactly what you need to know regarding how well you are predisposed to a particular type of online business, because there are 5 pillars of online business, and all of the businesses can fit into those 5. So in the 5-day challenge, what we're going to do is figure out which of those pillars are you going to be most predisposed for. The part 2 is the secondary component, which is, well, that's kind of redundant, is going through a course and being guided through a coaching process where we actually physically match you up with what you've come out with from your assessment into those online businesses. So you will have your entire short list of exactly the models, not just the type, not just, saying e-commerce, for example. There's a lot to do with e-commerce. There are a lot of different ways you can approach that business, and taking a deep dive into and pulling apart your actual assessment and extrapolating it, how is it going to apply to all of these different types of business models, that's the key component that is going to put you out the other end, where you will have a massive improved ability to succeed in the online business that you choose from your shortlist, right? Well, you've already gotten rid of the ones that you know are just, now that you know after going through this, are just not going to work for you, whether it be because of your skill set or your lifestyle goals, or what the time requirement is in this particular business model that you thought sounded so good until you actually learned the truth of it. So know that during this time, like, I'm not selling anything. I'm not selling any training on courses or trying to steer you in one direction or get you into a particular type of business. That is not my motive at all. My motive is to move you through this process that I've created so that I can help you to choose wisely and to make the best possible choice you can for you. And the best thing about this is by taking this little bit of time up front, right? Instead of just rushing off into whatever direction you're going to go into. This little bit of time up front is what is going to potentially save you years of time and thousands, many, many thousands and tens of thousands of dollars. And I'll again use myself as an example because in 6 years on Amazon private label, I wouldn't say for a second that that was a waste of time. It certainly wasn't. It was a great experience, and I learned a lot that I may not have learned. That's my computer telling me what time it is. I may not have learned, I had a lot of those lessons in a different model. So I don't regret that at all. But it was 6 years is a long time. And it puts me at a different stage in my life, doesn't it? Right? Where I can honestly say to you, I do not have, money to burn and time to spare. I want to pick the absolute best thing that resonates with me, that I think sounds like a really fun thing to be doing with my time every single day, and that's also going to give me the highest chance of succeeding the fastest. And that is exactly what this system will do for you. It'll take you in the front end and spit you out the other side so that you can eliminate all that time, all that doubt, all that second guessing. Am I choosing the right path here? Is this the right business model for me? Because you really don't know until you get going, until you get into it, unless you've got, a friend or somebody who's been through it and can actually tell you, actually, this is the way that it really is. Because we do tend to, the brain, we tend to fill in the gaps with a best case scenario. And that's why people use intrigue in marketing so often and why it's so effective. Because if you leave these gaps in a story or in an ad or an image, our brain just will automatically create this really cool, enticing, best case scenario in the spaces in between. And that's what we're doing when we're looking and evaluating opportunities as well, whether it's different homes you might want to buy, or an investment opportunity, or a choice for you to make with regards to which business you want to do, and where you're going to want to spend a good chunk of your time. Because we've got people on both ends of the spectrum where you might be somebody who has an existing job and you are working toward leaving that job and moving into your own online thing that you control. There's also a lot of people right now today who are without a job and are looking for an opportunity that they can begin and start doing right away. And no matter who you are, which side of the fence you're on there, the exact same scenario exists where you still need to choose, try and make your best choice right now with whatever information you've got available to you. And if that information is limited to what you're doing, what you're finding on a Google search, I can tell you, you will come up lacking, because the information that is up there is mostly put out by the marketers and the people who are selling the programs. And we all know that there's very, very few out there with enough integrity who are going to tell you up front, look, don't choose this one if you're the type of person who is like this, or if you've only got this much time. Most people are going to try and just get you in and push you through and hope you succeed, or maybe some care and some don't. So I'd like you to consider that when you're thinking about what you're going to do. So as far as the actual mapping of your business personality type, this is such an exciting new concept and new approach to becoming an entrepreneur, or starting your own new online business, or starting a new one and moving away from the existing one you're in and maybe doing a pivot, because it gives you the ability to create this path. This, everything else is dark, and this illuminated path that with a light telling you this way for you, because the important point is, this is not something that is a cookie cutter result that you can just go through and it will give you as good of information as it's going to give the next person sitting beside you. It's a very customized experience that is factoring in your lifestyle, your personality, your preferences, in addition to all the things that I know and I've learned about the different online business models that are thriving. And I will just say, as far as those online businesses go, there are a lot of cases where I actually personally know the people who are producing the best training for different business models that exist today. That's just the history that I have with the online business world over the last decade. A lot of it came from when I was in Amazon private label, and meeting people at conferences. I can't tell you how many times I've flown to Vegas for various, multi-day conferences, and people come from all different types of entrepreneurship and different types of online business. So you're meeting a lot of big players in all arenas, and that did give me the unique position where I could get to know people and know more about their exact training program and that business model. So it's given me that unique position where I have a position of authority and more information than the average person knows, because like I say, this is not info you're going to get on Google. And that is usually what most people are relying on. So you can rest assured and be confident in knowing that if you come through this program with me, you will come out with the absolute most current, most accurate, and honest information about all of those business models. Because like I say, I'm not selling anything. I'm not selling any training on those business models or trying to get you into a program. There is a huge amount of information that I'm giving to everybody completely for free. There's definitely another component where it's a paid application where you'll come in, and if you want to go further and find out more, we can definitely work together on that. I don't just operate completely for free, don't get me wrong. I am in business to make money, but I also recognize the importance of giving huge, tremendous value up front and making sure that the people that I'm going to work with and going to serve are getting a really good idea of what it would be like to be working with me, which is also what these podcasts do, is to give you a closer look at my style and how I approach things. And so, yeah, I would be thrilled if you would take a closer look at this challenge, and you're welcome to come into it and join. And I will just say that it is only for the ladies. Sorry if I didn't mention that earlier up front, but this is, I'm focused 100% on helping women. There are many, many amazing and wonderful resources out there for the dudes already. So I'm just going to send you on your way and let you go and explore those. And I only want to focus on helping and empowering women in my career. I'm at the point where I want to give back and help whoever I can. So being an expat woman myself, that is exactly who I want to primarily work with. Any women are welcome to come and work with me, but I definitely have a special place in my heart for expat wives because I am one. So please do click the link below. If the challenge is not running currently, it will be soon, and you will have the ability to get on a wait list. And if you happen to be joining in now and be interested in joining this 5-day challenge, this free challenge starting on Monday, we're kicking off this weekend. And I can guarantee you that you will come out of it completely different with a new perspective in terms of how you can fit yourself into the ideal online business and have the absolute most success possible. So if you are currently not thriving and not loving what you're doing, or you're just getting started, this is exactly where you need to be. And come and join my free challenge, and it will be my pleasure to take you through and show you more. So on that note, I will wrap it up and say thank you very much for joining in, and I will put the link for the challenge in the description so that you can click on that at will. And if you do want to find out anything more about me or what I'm doing at any given time, you can just go to my website, and it's my name, heatherefarrell.com. It's FARRELL. So on that note, I'll wish you all the best in your business and your life as always, and look forward to seeing you again next week for the next edition of the Legit eBiz show. Until then, have yourself a great weekend, and I will say an early happy Mother's Day to all the wonderful mothers out there. Thanks, everybody.